Listen, I need to tell you the struggle is over for you. Sitting here in the Chick-fil-A driveway, and I'm hearing so much for so many of you, and I know that this is the end of the year, and many of you are in great expectancy of what your new year will be or become. And you want to make sure you end well. I want you to know you're not only will you end well, but you're going to begin this next year even greater, even better, wealthier, more successful, more prosperous, healed, whole.
How long are you Christians going to continue to fall for this bullshit every year? First thing, January 1st is not even the true new year. If you was truly following your belief system, then you would recognize that the beginning of the year is actually in between, is actually uh, at the spring equinox. That was the calendar uh, of the Hebrew people, the Israelite people, long before the Romans came in and changed it to the Julian calendar, which made January 1st the beginning of the year. So January is not even a new year. That's the first part. If you was really looking for a new beginning, you're going to have a new year in the dead of winter. What kind of sense does that make? The other aspect of it is every year y'all get the same messages. There's always somebody like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give this vague thing about I feel God is speaking to me, and for some of y'all out there who are listening, it's got some of y'all that way to, you know, for all y'all that don't have a better year, you weren't part of the some of y'all. But there's some of y'all are gonna have a great year. That God is breaking chains and curses, that you're gonna make more money, that your family issues are gonna be ironed out. So today on our live, we talked about how you have to put forth action to make any progress. You can sit here and pray and pray and pray and pray all day, but even your book tells you that prayer without works is dead. But yet y'all hear stuff like this and y'all get all excited, but you don't have a plan going forward as to how you're going to change anything. We talked about wealth building on our live today, and how the Bible actually tells you certain things about wealth building, but yet also tries to keep you poor at the same time. And then how these pastors are taking advantage of the fact that your financial illiteracy is going to maintain you being broke, but your belief in this hope that everything's just going to manifest itself, that you'll keep giving to that collection plate, thereby making the pastor wealthier while you continue to struggle and be poor. Always waiting, always waiting, always, always, always waiting, 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 and hoping and waiting. And yet you never receive. You never receive. What's the problem here? The problem is that you become a slave to this hope thing. You may as well believe in this. These Facebook bullshit games, that in 2024, Lorenzo is going to have this new car, this Mercedes, which I don't like Mercedes. This new house, the house is pretty nice though. And he's going to be going to Paris. I've already been there multiple times, but I don't mind going back again. So should I believe? I can believe this just as much as that dude saying that all these things are going to be broken. At least this is giving me details. At least there's details in here. There's a Mercedes. There's a house with a pool. There's trips to Paris. At least it's giving me details. Whereas your guy before was just giving you a whole bunch of vague bullshit that can be extrapolated to mean anything for anybody. And that's the problem with most of these religions and their prophecies and all of these new year, you're going to have a great year things coming, is that it can be faded in any direction whatsoever. So let me give you guys a little bit of advice concerning if you want to have financial abundance in your life coming in the next year. Number one, stop spending more money than you make. You have to control your expenses. If you're spending more money than you make, you will not have a better financial year. You will actually be in a more deficit of a year. That's number one. Stop spending more money than you make and control your expenses. Number two, 10% of what you earn is yours to keep, meaning you keep 10% of everything that you earn. And then you invest that 10% in order for it to make a return that you then reinvest over and over again, put it through the spin cycle until it brings you more money than you make on your job or whatever it is. So it save 10%, invest 10%, save another 10% just in case shit happens, but also for long-term and short-term purchases. Stop going into debt over everything. You know, when I was a kid, my mom used to save all year for Christmas. She had another savings that she saved all year for school, so school supplies and clothing. So if you don't learn to save, then the talent of building wealth is not within you. So you got to save 10% for investing and save 10% for short-term purchases and long-term purposes. Stop spending more money than you make and control your expenses. And then lastly, make your home an investment. Not everybody wants to buy a home. I do understand that. But get your credit score up so that you can get a house, buy a house. Buying land is the greatest investment that you can make towards building wealth, whether it's for yourself or for generations to come. Now, that's real shit. And if you have the discipline to do that, then you will have a real change in your life. And if you want to learn more about relationships, go to my The Art of Tantric Love page. And that's where we're going to talk about relationships and how to have the most dynamic, best relationship you possibly can. But until then, remember always, you got to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations.